This new moon is an evolutionary leap. We are at the threshold of very strong Aquarian age energies by the personal planets now moving in one by one into Aquarius between the period of January 17th to January 23rd. And this new moon falls exactly at this doorstep, this portal that is opening. And the focus on the late degrees of Capricorn is also the opportunity to let go of that last resistance to an evolutionary leap. And at this Capricorn new moon, it is a point of release, a new beginning, as every new moon is. But it's also where we can see and look back on our history and say that we may want something different. Welcome to New Light Living Podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach and a galactic astrologer. This video is a galactic astrology reading of the Capricorn new moon at 28 degrees 44 minutes on January 18th, 2026. Welcome. What I do in these videos, I put an outer layer of fixed stars, celestial bodies, and galactic points to the traditional Western tropical astrology wheel. And that is to bring a multi-dimensional perspective beyond our traditional ways of looking at astrology. And this is an exploration of this Capricorn new moon in 3 energetic themes that I share with you in this video. And also at the end, I have 3 questions should you want to integrate the Capricorn new moon some more. I also have some announcements and offerings at the end of the video should you want to check those out. Are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments Reference Guide. There's a link in the pinned comment and description box below. This new moon in Capricorn is at 28 degrees of Capricorn, conjunct asteroid Astraea at 28 degrees, and also opposite the fixed star Canis Minor-Procyon at 26 degrees of Cancer. The ruler of this new moon is Saturn, and Saturn is at 27 degrees of Pisces, opposite the supergalactic center at 2 degrees of Libra. This new moon is an evolutionary leap. We are at the threshold of very strong Aquarian age energies by the personal planets now moving in one by one into Aquarius between the period of January 17th to January 23rd. And this new moon falls exactly at this doorstep, this portal that is opening. And the focus on the late degrees of Capricorn is also the opportunity to let go of that last resistance to an evolutionary leap. The opportunity we have here at this Capricorn new moon is to be done with the past. And this new moon may be a reminder of all the things that feels comfortable, that we know so well, and that we have repeated over and over again over a long time, both in our personal lives, but also collectively. But at this Capricorn new moon, we can also see the whole picture and say that we're done with it. And at this Capricorn new moon, it is a point of release, a new beginning, as every new moon is. But it's also where we can see and look back on our history and say that we may want something different. We may also conclude that all is as it needs to be, with the good and the bad and the dark and the light already as it needs to be. And however, there's an element of coming into alignment, coming into balance at this Capricorn new moon, because it is a balancing act to step through a threshold into a new chapter. To make an evolutionary leap, we also need to conclude what is next, because we are transcending the past. We are also going beyond the comfort zone in this new chapter, which is the Aquarian age, with a whole new energy signature to it. We can also see the big picture that old structures and new structures are really the same, but with new form to it and some new content. But all in all, energy cannot change. It can just change and transform and transmute. So at this Capricorn new moon, we're also invited to see the opportunities, see the potential with this new energy that we call the Aquarian age and new earth energy, because we are now invited to go beyond what we believe is possible, what we believe has merit to it, because we are stepping into a new frequency, and we are right at the doorstep of new frequency, as we also have major shifts coming here in the next couple of months, shifts from the elements of earth and water into air and fire, which is also going to help us feel lighter, and information and thoughts. Energy is going to speed up significantly. And at this Capricorn new moon, we are being reminded that we are the vessel for transmutation, and we are coming more into our bodies are going to be a major focus as we move forward, because the body is the vessel for magic, and that is an evolutionary leap in itself. And we're moving from an era of significant mental activity, using our mental domain for problem solving, and to move now into the body, the heart, as a center for wisdom, moving into the body and the heart frequency as a vessel for wisdom, rather than the knowledge that we have gained and used as part of the mental domain. So before we go into the new moon chart, I'd like to share what the energetic themes are in this video. The first theme is on the threshold. And here we're going to talk more about the new moon in Capricorn, Canis Minor-Procyon, and also asteroid Astraea and Bootes-Izar. The second theme is an evolutionary leap. And here we're going to talk more about the new moon, Canis Minor-Procyon, but also Alpha Centauri, and an interesting star shape formation within the chart. The third theme is Soul Essence Technology. And here also the members only video is a deepening of this theme. Here we're going to talk about a grand water trine, a grand earth trine, and also the shift into fire and air that is happening here during this doorway to the Aquarian age, where all the personal planets are moving into the sign of Aquarius within a window of 5 days. And if you're curious about this doorway to the Aquarian age, I have dedicated a whole video within my 2026 Galactic Astrology program. And if you're curious to go deeper with this, sign up for the program via the link in the pinned comment and the description box. At this Capricorn new moon, we are invited to step deeper into pure frequency, and that is associated with our soul essence, because this transformational doorstep, this threshold we're at now, with such focus on the sign of Capricorn and very soon into the sign of Aquarius, this is a call for stepping into a higher vibrating frequency, connecting more with our soul essence and our multidimensional soul, to come deeper in alignment with who we truly are, which is harmony, balance, frequency that is associated with harmony and innocence while being in a human body. All right, let's dive into the new moon chart. Let's go. So here we have the new moon chart, and as you can see, there's a significant focus on the last degrees of Capricorn here, and also the first degrees of Aquarius. And I will show you in more detail an expanded view of this area in the chart as part of this video. But we have the emphasis here also through the opposition with Canis Minor-Procyon in Cancer at 26 degrees. And we'll talk more about Canis Minor-Procyon in energetic theme and 2 coming up. The ruler of this new moon is Saturn, and Saturn is direct in Pisces at 27 degrees here, in opposition with the supergalactic center at 2 degrees of Libra, and Neptune here at 29 degrees. And this new moon has a strong link between Saturn and Neptune here, who are preparing for their conjunction later in February. But also it's a strong sextile here. It's a strong blue line in this chart to this new moon at 28 degrees of Capricorn, with all the things that are going on here, both in Capricorn and early Aquarius. All right, let's dive into the first energetic theme, on the threshold. So here we have the first energetic theme that are called on the threshold. And as you can see, this focus on the Capricorn and Aquarian cusp is significant. And I have expanded this area a little bit for better visibility, because there's a lot going on here. And we're going to talk about Canis Minor-Procyon in a second here as well. But first, I'd like to detail a little bit more about what's in this area of 7 to 8 degrees here, between 26 degrees of Capricorn, where Mars is, to Vesta at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And so there are two camps here in this chart. It's the Capricorn group and the Aquarius group. And there's a reason for these placements, of course. And if we start with Capricorn here, we have Mars at 26 degrees of Capricorn. And Mars will be the last to enter Aquarius on January 23rd. We have Mercury also conjunct Mars at 26 degrees of Capricorn. And then we have asteroid Astraea, Moon and Sun all in conjunction at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And we're going to talk more about asteroid Astraea in a second here as well. And then we have the Aquarius group here. Venus just entered Aquarius on January 17th, so a day before this new moon, and is also conjunct Aquila Altair, the fixed star, at 2 degrees of Aquarius. We also have asteroid Atlantis at 2 degrees of Aquarius, conjunct almost exact there, Aquila Altair. And then we have Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius, conjunct Vesta at 3 degrees of Aquarius. So wow, this is a significant group of placements. And I want to say that the Capricorn group here, with the new moon and asteroid Astraea at 28 degrees here, are giving us some key information about what's left to transmute before we step into the Aquarian age here through the symbolic doorway here, the personal planets led by Venus here. And here we have asteroid Astraea in an image here, and I also pulled in Canis Minor-Procyon that we're going to talk about a little more. Asteroid Astraea is associated with justice and also the purification of energy in association with innocence, with hope, and that pure intent. So there is an invitation here to scale back or shave off anything that is not pure, that is not with a pure intent in our lives at this time, because this is probably the last call of the old age, if we will. The Capricorn sign is associated with structures and sometimes rigidity. And also the characteristics of the ruling planet, Saturn here, is very much a teacher of what's right and what's wrong. So we're invited here by Astraea, highlighting the new moon so significantly at 28 degrees, that it's a requirement to step into the Aquarian age is to let go of what is not serving us anymore, in terms of what's not pure, what's not from an innocent intent. And we can also link it into our soul essence. Our soul essence is just pure. It's a clear signal from the cosmos that we have within, that we came here with. And that is what we're invited to connect back with at this Capricorn new moon, because we are in for an evolutionary leap, and it's happening. Canis Minor-Procyon, in opposition here with the new moon, is associated with new high frequency energy, often The blue ray is associated with Canis Minor-Procyon and new spiritual technology, which is linked into how we use our body as a vessel for transmutation of energy and awareness around that. And we're going to talk more about Procyon coming up here, but this is one of the most important energy signatures that we are invited to consider, because 28 degrees is very much an advanced, mature degree in the zodiac, and 28 degrees of Capricorn has to do with what it truly takes to evolve. I also want to talk about the ruler of this new moon, which is Saturn. Saturn also is at very critical degrees here alongside Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces and Saturn at 27. These are also very mature, highly advanced degrees. Being at the end of the zodiac here, 27 and 29 degrees of Pisces is the very last degrees of the zodiac. And this T-square that we have between Orion's Scythe at 26 degrees of Gemini and in opposition with the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius is a additional call for purification, because Orion's Scythe is associated with transmuting negative, if you will, or lower frequency energy. And the galactic center is pointing to our own universal driver of universal wisdom here in the Milky Way galaxy, which is the galactic center. So here Saturn is playing a significant role alongside Neptune to drive this transmutation of lower frequency energy before they both move into Aries and in conjunction on February 20th at 0 degree of Aries, which is really the mark for a new era. And we can make it into a grand cross as well with the supergalactic center there at 2 degrees of Libra. But all in all, this is also a continued highlight by Saturn and Neptune, which is a long-term influence on our collective and our own lives as well. But this is also highlighted by Saturn being the ruler of this new moon. Around the 28 degree mark, we also have a T-square with Andromeda Galaxy at 28 degrees of Aries, and also Bootes-Izar. Izar is a fixed star in the Bootes constellation at 28 degrees of Libra. And we can make this into a grand cross as well with Canis Minor-Procyon at 26 degrees of Cancer. But this is also a call to expand into our multidimensional perspective that Andromeda Galaxy M31 is representing here. Bootes-Izar there at 28 degrees of Libra is linked into pure life force, dragon energy. So this is also an invitation this new moon to pull in more awareness and connection with what truly drives us from a soul perspective. And notice Chiron here at 22 degrees of Aries. Chiron is going to proceed into the later degrees of Aries, and come 10th of May, Chiron will be at 28 degrees of Aries in opposition with Izar. So that gives us a little time perspective on when this life force, dragon energy, is going to be very active. And that's around May 10th and for the rest of the month of May 2026. And here I chose to highlight Izar here because this 28 degrees of Libra. So here we have Izar on the sky map, and also a image of a rainbow dragon here, very much linked into the Bootes-Izar fixed star type of energy. And you may be more familiar with Actress there in the Bootes constellation at 24 degrees of Libra. But Izar is also a significant star that is associated with this beautiful rainbow dragon energy. So yes, this new moon in Capricorn is the threshold to the doorway to the Aquarian age, I feel. And this is a call to step into higher frequency, a purer, more innocent frequency within ourselves using that as a connection to our body's wisdom, being a vessel for higher frequency to be transmuted and anchored here to Earth at this time. We are in for a frequency upgrade and an evolutionary leap here in the next coming months. And in energetic theme 3, we are going to talk more about this Aquarian group of placements that you saw in the expanded slide. So look forward to that in energetic theme 3. Enjoy this new moon on the threshold. Next, we're going to move into the second theme that I called an evolutionary leap. So here we have the second energetic theme, an evolutionary leap. And I've highlighted here some key placements in this chart that is building this evolutionary leap. And at this Capricorn new moon, we have this activated by Lilith's placement here in Scorpio at 29 degrees, conjunct Alpha Centauri. And this is what really, together with the new moon, is activating this evolutionary leap at this time. Lilith here at anorectic degree 29 is a culmination, and in conjunction with Alpha Centauri here at 29 degrees of Scorpio is a signature of a culmination with regards to spiritual depth, because Lilith is that unrestricted force that goes to all corners of the cosmos without any restriction. And Alpha Centauri is that depth of spiritual mastery that is invited through the sign of Scorpio here, which is the most deep sign, if you will. So that beautiful trine also to Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces conjunct Pegasus sheath is a flowing, unlimited spiritual energy that we are also under during this Capricorn new moon, which we are deeply connected with. And the fact that the new moon is highlighting 28 degrees of Capricorn brings it into a minor grand trine here between Lilith and Neptune and Saturn, and also new moon and Mars here. But it's also connecting all the points here in the chart between 27 and 29 degrees, such as Saturn and Neptune, Uranus at 27 degrees conjunct Perseus-Algol at 28 degrees of Taurus, Procyon at 26 degrees of Cancer, Perseus-Algol at 28 degrees of Taurus. And that builds, as you can almost see it in this chart, what we call a basket. It's two minor grand trines and an opposition here. And this is a significant formation that is present at significant points during 2026. And this is also evolutionary. Lilith conjunct Alpha Centauri, both now at 29 degrees of Scorpio, is the deepest spiritual depth you can go, but it's also linked into our soul journey. It's also linked into our understanding of our soul journey. So at this Capricorn new moon, you may have revelations of depths, of treasures within yourself, remembrance of past lives or experiences as a soul in soul incarnations elsewhere beyond Earth that are also coming into your awareness at this time. This trine between Neptune and Lilith is a significant culmination of water energy that is taking us into a new depth within. And ultimately, this combination here, Lilith and Alpha Centauri, the intent is to purify the connections so that we can live in harmony and return to harmony with the universe in human form. And I also wanted to point out, if you notice here, Jupiter is in retrograde at 18 degrees of Cancer at this new moon, and will continue to retrograde all the way back to 15 degrees of Cancer. But when Jupiter is direct later on and will pass Procyon's degree of 26 of Cancer again, which is in June, 11th to 15th of June, 2026, this is an important point of this evolutionary leap in terms of spiritual technology. So come June, about 6 months from now, Jupiter will be activating this point, Canis Minor-Procyon, again. So as I mentioned earlier, this chart, this new moon chart, is very advanced when it comes to the late degree placements and is working deeply with our spiritual body, because we are here now to go deeper than what we have ever done before. The evolutionary leap that we are all invited to make is a spiritual one. It is to leap beyond our comfortable structures that we see in the physical realm into the spiritual structures that are unseen. And that takes some courage. And we also are invited to become so pure within that we are in direct contact or awareness with our multidimensional soul and our soul journey. So let's dive into the third energetic theme, soul essence technology, next. So here we have the third energetic theme that I called soul essence technology. And here we're going to talk about a profound Earth grand trine that is in place with this Capricorn new moon. And I've highlighted here first, of course, the new moon. And then we have Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus there in retrograde, conjunct Perseus Algol at 28 degrees of Taurus. And also in Grand Trine with Supergalactic Center at 2 degrees of Libra. And I apply a 5-degree orb to Supergalactic Center due to the magnitude of influence that each of these universal hubs like Supergalactic Center has. And as I mentioned, this is an Earth Grand Trine. We also have a Water Grand Trine at this Capricorn new moon. And if we overlay both here, we can see a star formation in the chart. And this is also what the members only video is going to explore a little bit deeper. And the Water Grand Trine here is Saturn and Neptune together between 27 and 29 degrees of Pisces, conjunct Pegasus sheet at 29 degrees of Pisces, in trine with Lilith, conjunct Alpha Centauri there, both at 29 degrees of Scorpio, and Canis Minor-Procyon at 26 degrees of Cancer, which is in opposition with the Capricorn new moon, as we know. And I've highlighted Canis Minor-Procyon specifically here that we're going to talk more about in the members only video, but here shortly as well. And what we're in for around this time of the Capricorn new moon is an eventual shift from water earth element of energy to air and fire energy. And this feels like the last hurrah, if you will, with all of these alignments lining up, and particularly that opposition between the new moon and Canis Minor-Procyon indicates that there is some new spiritual technology that we're entering into. And Canis Minor-Procyon is associated with very high frequency blue ray light and vibrant and light and frequency. And as we have this doorway to Aquarian age, where the personal planets are moving into Aquarius, which is an air sign, also eventually conjuncting Pluto at 3 degrees of Aquarius here, we will experience a shift in energy. And particularly here, if we focus on the Aquarius group now, as part of this grouping at this Capricorn new moon, we have Venus at 1 degree of Aquarius. We have Aquila Altair at 2 degrees of Aquarius, Asteroid Atlantis at 2 degrees of Aquarius, and Pluto and Vesta both at 3 degrees of Aquarius. And if we take this group together, it's clear that the shift that we are experiencing or will be experiencing over the next couple of days here between the 17th and 23rd of January 2026, we are going to shift into a higher, more high-speed energy as an air sign, but also the focus on Venus, the feminine energies, Aquila Altair, which is the higher perspective, the eagle's perch type of higher perspective, and linked into the Atlantean eras. Atlantis Asteroid Atlantis is a marker for, and often it marks out what to focus on as it links into ancient lifetimes, ancient energy. And the fact that asteroid Atlantis is right here means something, right? And then we have Vesta conjunct Pluto there at 3 degrees, and Vesta speaks to that inner comfort, that inner glow that each of us have and are invited to connect with, that soul essence. So taking everything together here as we shift into the later parts of January and into February here and beyond, it's going to shift to a higher perspective and coming deeper into connecting with our soul essence. And in opposition here to Canis Minor-Procyon, it means also integration between body, mind, soul. Spiritual technology involves the body as a vessel, and there may be also personal experiences around this elevation of frequency as it relates to body wisdom and communication with the body. So here we have Canis Minor-Procyon at 26 degrees of Cancer on the astrological chart. But here on the sky map, we see that Canis Minor-Procyon is in fairly close proximity to the Orion constellation, but also Sirius. And I also have a image for you to tune into the fixed star of Procyon here. Procyon plays a significant role, and for those of you who have placements in your birth chart around 26 degrees of Cancer, give it about a 2-degree orb, will significantly be activated around this Capricorn new moon, of course, but also any trine, sextile, squares to the degree of 26 will be reminded about what the role of the body is in your human experience. So with this shift into air and fire, we are going to realize some beautiful trines here with the group, the Aquarian group, Venus, Altair, Atlantis, and also Pluto and Vesta it was. So we will see trines to Pleiades there. And I wanted to point out the trine with the Pleiades star cluster here at 0 degree of Gemini, as we are emphasizing the 0 degree Aquarian cusp there with this, but also the trine to supergalactic center in Libra, both Gemini and Libra being air signs. So these trines are flowing and connectivity with our spirit guides that we co-create with, and also the universal wisdom of the supergalactic center. And we are also having sextiles as Neptune and Saturn moves into Aries here. This 0 degree point, this doorway to the Aquarian age, as I call it, is going to be a beautiful sextile. And you can see it in the chart here. It's very marked by blue in the chart. This is also significant support. I see it as in terms of our own liberation. Pegasus sheet at 29 degrees of Pisces is very much associated with liberation at the soul level. And also Lilith, their true Lilith, moving into Sagittarius shortly, conjuncting still Alpha Centauri, is the link also into a higher spiritual mastery. So this shift, when the personal planets are moving into the sign of Aquarius one by one here in the next couple of days after, in and around this Capricorn new moon, we will feel a shift into a higher elevated, a more quick speed type of energy. And if you have any personal planets around this 0 degree cusp anywhere in your chart, you are clearly aligned with this movement, this shift. And in the members only video, we will dive deeper into this shift and talk more about these grand trines and also the energy shift into air and fire. And here, I just wanted also in this slide, highlight Aquila Altair as the eagle's energy there conjunct Atlantis at 2 degrees of Aquarius. This is a strong link and reminder again about ancient lifetimes and our soul memories from ancient lifetimes, such as Atlantis, is very much highlighted by asteroid Atlantis being here conjunct Aquila Altair at 2 degrees of Aquarius at this time. So this Capricorn new moon chart is very powerful, and it's right on the threshold here to the doorway of Aquarian age. And I'm excited to explore this further with you in my 2026 Galactic Astrology program. And you can find a link to sign up for that in the pinned comment and description box below. So as promised, as usual, I have a couple of questions for you to integrate this Capricorn new moon energy some more in your own life. So here we go. The first question is, how are you at this time feeling that you are opening a door beyond your comfort zone? Because that is really the essence of this doorway to the Aquarian age. And this evolutionary leap is to open up our inner interior to something that is new, fresh, and a sense of exploration and adventure. At this Capricorn new moon, there's a lot of cycles that are meeting. So, what are you, for example, concluding those cycles that you are wrapping up at this time? What are those? And think about some area in your life where you feel that you're done with something or a situation or a person. That may be an example of how you are concluding a cycle and how you are concluding a cycle at this time. And similarly, what is opening up for you, something new that you feel is new and fresh for you. It's important to ground these experiences in our human world and not leaving it as a thought or an idea. So, taking the time to work with these questions may help you to ground this into more of a manifestation right in time for the shift into fire and air, which is going to be more based in ideas, communication, and fast moving energy. The second question is also similar to what I just asked, but in relation to this star formation from theme 2. And that is, what are you transforming permanently at this time? And this may be a deeper question that takes more into account a broader perspective of your entire soul experience here in human form. What are some of the soul memories that you are connecting with that you may recognize from ancient lifetimes? The third question is around spiritual technology and also Canis Minor-Procyon here and its prominence at this Capricorn new moon, because the integration now into embodiment of body, mind, soul is going to be a heightened focus as we move into 2026 further. And the question is, what are you embodying now that feels easy, that feels like it's opening up within your experience here, not only as a thought, but as an actual experience? Because at this Capricorn new moon, we are stepping deeper into our pure, innocent soul essence and the experience of it. And it is truly ushering in a evolutionary leap for humanity. And are you curious about your own galactic alignments? Download my Galactic Alignments Reference Guide. There's a link in the pinned comment and description box below. And I have decided to expand on the questions in this video. So if you're curious about having an expanded conversation about the integration questions here, I'm going to make that available in the star level of this channel membership. So if you're curious, join us there for some additional work around these extra questions, because now we are stepping into a new phase to remember and activate our multidimensional soul. And just in time for this expansion, I have updated my website and I wanted to show you an example of my new offerings. So let me show you a short little glimpse of my new offerings that I am having available to you. So here, if we go to the shop, for example, We can look at here the 2026 program that I'm offering. So here we navigated to the shop on the website, and here are some quick navigation to the offerings that I have currently here. This will evolve. And just quickly showing you what these are. Galactic Solar Expressions Quick Start Guide is if you want more context to the Galactic Alignments reference guide and begin integrating the meaning of these alignments into your own life. And then we have how to interpret galactic alignments. And this is if you're already familiar with traditional astrology and you want to get familiar with your own galactic connections through the lens of astrology, and you want to gain ability to interpret your own chart a little deeper on your own. And then I have grounding body energy practice. And this is the elevated focus around embodiment that I have picked up. And here I'm offering my own practice that I use almost at a daily basis. And this could be added on to your own spiritual practice, or if you don't have a spiritual practice, this is a beautiful way to tap into the energy of your own body. And then also I have a meditation collection that I'm offering up. This will also evolve here, but I wanted to make available meditations that I've created over time. And then, of course, the 2026 Galactic Astrology program. We're still in January, highly relevant to join us for that. And of course, my book. Grab a copy of my book, Wisdom Beyond What You Know, How to Shift from Being Driven by the Mind to Living from the Heart and Intuition. And lastly, here's the sign up for Galactic Alignments Reference Guide, if you haven't already done so. So thank you for being with me, looking through some of my new content on my website. If you're here still, you may be interested in checking that out. I appreciate that you're here. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful you're here. And I'll be soon back with another video for you. Bye.